Previously on Cirque Stories, we had the honor of sitting down with the legendary Brian Dewhurst as he shared some of his insight from over 70 years of his life in the circus. If you missed the last episode, click the link in the description below, but don't go anywhere because a new episode of Cirque Stories is about to begin. Commitment, passion, performance, countless hours of training. These are just a few of the things our dreams are made of. We are Cirque du Soleil artists, and we all have a story to tell. Behind the scenes, behind the makeup and all the costumes, this is unfiltered, raw, like you've never seen before. Welcome to Cirque Stories. Hi, I'm Christina Jones, and I'm your host for Cirque Stories. In this episode, I met up with Miguel Vazquez, a world-renowned trapeze artist, current world record holder, and a legend in the circus community. Here's his story. Miguel, first of all, thank you so much for agreeing to share your story with us. It's a true honor for us to have you on Cirque Stories.
Thank you, it's my pleasure, and humbled that you chose me.
Your story is special for many reasons. And it's kind of hard to know where to start because you have so many parts to your story. But I think one of the coolest things is that you're the first person that we're highlighting that's a technician. You're a rigger.
Yes, right? I am. I'm a rigger right now at
Michael Jackson 1.
But I was at O for 8 years before that. So, that's where I made the transition from performing to backstage.
Right. And fascinating enough, we worked at the same show, and I knew you as a rigger, but it was years before I knew what a big deal performer you are as well. So let's delve a little bit into that. Okay. Where were you born?
I was born in Mexico, outside Guadalajara, and was traveled with the circus family. I come from 5-generation circus artists. My brothers were already in Europe doing a bar act, and that's when they decided to call me over when they were going to start doing a flying trapeze act.
And was there ever a moment in your childhood when you thought, maybe I want to do something different?
Well, not really. I grew up in the circus, and I remember the first time I went in the ring. In the circus, we call it the ring. In front of the audience, I was like 6 years old.
Wow.
And, you just get this feeling, I want to do this. And never really looked back. When we started making the transition and we started building our flying trapeze act, at the beginning it was a little bit difficult and didn't enjoy it 100%, but it came a time when I fell in love with it and it was my passion.
Why don't you share with us the title that you hold?
My brother and I were the first ones to do a quadruple somersault on the flying trapeze, a feat that was never been done in the history of trapeze. Most of the great trapeze artists before I came along tried it, and they decided that it was something that it was impossible. There was no way to be able to do it. And at the time I was 16 years old, I was full of energy, and I said, I'm gonna give it a shot. And we practiced every day for about 6 months. We used to practice every night after doing the performance. And finally, just before we were going to give up on the trick, we said, I guess these guys were right. We can't do it. We decided to give ourselves like an extra week, and we caught it in that week.
A feat unparalleled in circus history. A quadruple somersault to the hands of the catcher. Attempted by the first and only performer to have mastered this amazing feat, Miguel Vazquez. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed the most sensational feat in all all of circus history by Miguel and Vazquez.
The news spread all over the world.
Because you accomplished the impossible.
Yeah, what they say it was impossible, we made it possible.
It's estimated that at one point during the stunt, Vazquez's body was traveling 75 miles an hour, which of course is well over the speed limit. But then to give him a ticket, you'd have to catch him, and only his brother does that.
What made you decide to transition from performing to rigging?
When you are in the circus, you learn how to fabricate your own rigging, set it up, take it down. You know, you put your life in it, so we always used to like to be able to make sure we rig the rigging where our lives depend on. So you learn from a young age to also do rigging and fabrication and everything like that. So I already knew how to do all the rigging work on it. At that time, I was already working as a stagehand here in Las Vegas, and then an opening came up for me to join Cirque du Soleil is a rigger in the rigging department. I just made that transition from performing from on stage to backstage.
So it felt like the natural transition.
Pretty much, for us, you still feel connected, you know, even though maybe you're not on stage anymore, but you're part of the show, you're part of the scene, you're part of making it happen, making sure everything goes well and everything's safe. And I think the beauty of being an ex-artist, you can relate to the artists on stage. We're not strangers. We know what they go through, we know what they feel, we know the struggles, we know the situations. I know what it is to get up in the morning and feel really bad.
I just want to take a moment also to thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us, and to thank all riggers and all crew that are behind the scenes, because if it's not for you guys, the show doesn't go on. Everybody just sees people on stage, but people don't know just how much goes into that. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome, and it is a massive task. You've seen backstage, you know, it takes a large amount of technicians to make it happen. Our job is to make sure you guys are safe and everything it's in the right place at the right time and make the magic happen. And, you know, we depend on each other, you know, artists and technicians. Without you, we have no show, and without techs, we can't run the show. So it's just a beautiful thing that we do together every night, I think.
Agreed. And do you have any advice for current circus performers?
I will say, enjoy what you're doing, build memories, you know, go all out, stay humble.
And you so perfectly demonstrate that. Your humility is inspiring.
Thank you.
If you had no health problems, no worries, all the money in the world, no responsibilities, what would you do?
I think I would love to maybe build a facility to continue teaching the circus arts to maybe the underprivileged kids and the youth, whatever has to do with circus and whatever has to do with the technical side, to keep the magic going.
Beautiful. Miguel is a legend and a hero in the circus world, but he remains humble, soft-spoken, and continues to give back to the trapeze community. He's an excellent reminder that there's an incredible crew behind every Cirque show that the audience doesn't see. As artists, we know that what we do wouldn't be possible without the exceptional expertise and guidance of people just like Miguel. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Cirque Stories, but I'd love to hear from you. Which artist would you like me to interview next? And remember, you can always catch me on the O stage at the Bellagio on the Las Vegas Strip. And you can click on the link to buy tickets. Also, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss the next episode of Cirque Stories. Believe me, you're not going to want to miss this one. Also, you can always look below for more information and links. See you next time.